What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, this is actually a video series I wanted to work on where we're going to be going through a project and building it using a TDD, test-driven development. Let me show you guys what we're going to be working with. So this is just a small little app I put together. I kind of did it pretty quickly. It's a Hacker News app where it's using the Angolia API, and it's just grabbing the top articles on Hacker News, and if you click on this, it actually opens up a web view and where you can go back. It's being kind of slow. And what else? And you can save these and they'll end up here. Actually, I don't have this configured. And you can also search, I don't know, we can search Apple, right? And you click on this and it should open a web view. And yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the project. But we're going to be building it out using test-driven development. I did this really quickly without using TDD, but now I want to go through and show you guys, and also a good learning experience for myself to working on tests. So yeah, I hope you guys are excited for this series. Let me know. All right, so let's get into it. So we're just going to go to app here. Let's call this Hacker News. So we're going to be using storyboards and Swift. Create Git repository on Mac, sure. We'll do some source control. And what I want to do for this project is we're going to move this to the trash. We're not going to use this storyboard. Here. Get rid of this. Let's see what else we need to get rid of. Get rid of this. And we'll go to scene delegates. And we'll set up the window scene. And you can actually, if you're wondering what I'm doing, we're just programming without using storyboards. It's basically like using UIKit. And you can watch, I have a video on it, on how to do it without storyboards. I'm basically doing the process right now anyway. So, but I go more into detail in that one. Make key invisible, and then... So for now, we'll just do this and if this runs, then this should be working. If it doesn't crash, then it's working. What was this? It's probably, yeah. Alright, it didn't crash, so it's working. I don't want to change this view controller because we're not here for that actually. So we go here to this target, and since we're doing TDD, we got to start off with test first. So if you scroll down, there should be a unit test bundle. We can call it Hacker News Test. Finish. All right, now we have our testing bundle. And here, look, we have a little testing class. So we get a file like this, right? Swift gives us a file like this. We can just delete this off for now. We don't really worry about it. I'll explain some of it later when we get there. And we can rename this, actually. Because what are we going to be testing first? Hacker News, Home View Controller, tests. All right. So as you guys saw, we have a table. We have a view controller with a table views, with a table view and a whole bunch of cells, right? And a table view is basically just a collection of cells, right? And when you have a collection of items, whether it's a cell or like a UI table view or a collection view or something, a collection of items basically, you want to test the zero case. So if it's empty, so if you have nothing in the collection, if you have one in the collection, and also if you have many in the collection, so more than one. And that's what we're going to do here in this unit test. So let's get on with it. All right, so with testing, you want to start off first with the test you create a func, right? And then you want to put test underscore, and then you want to be very descriptive of what you name the test. So in here, what are we testing? So all right, and we're gonna name this table view is empty. Should be empty. And what this means is we don't have any cells in our home view controller. And that might happen because like a network call, yeah, basically just an error. Typically, there might have been an error with like a network connection or something, and we weren't able to load any table view cells onto the screen. So in that case, what do we want to do? So in TDD, usually we want to what is it? So you have so you're given. So we have given, when, and then. And also something super important that are right here is red, green, refactor. And that's like one of the principles of a TDD is you want to write a red test, a failing test, a green test that make that test pass, and then you want to refactor to clean up your code and the test. So back to this given. So given an empty table, what does that mean? So, So given, and usually in testing you'll see this SUT, which is system under test, basically. That's what it stands for. We'll see. So given home view controller, given that, so when what? We're given a home view controller, and we're getting an error here, and we're not gonna fix it. Yeah, I'm trying to kind of like decipher what we're testing. So, all right. So given the home view controller, when articles is empty, we want to assert that the table view in this controller dot, I think is rows in section, number of rows in section. Here we go. And we're only gonna have one section in the table, so section 0. We want that to be equal to 0, and this tail is gonna fail out the wazoo because we have none of this in the out the wazoo. All right, so we're missing a home view controller. And actually, I missed a step here. So when you're testing, you want to import the main file. So you want to do testable import Hacker News. And what this lets us do, it lets the project know, oh, we're importing it to do testing. Right? And let me run it again to make sure it'll fail. All right, it'll fail. So we're missing a home view controller. And you can... Right now, since we're just starting, I'm going to start just putting it here, basically. And then we're going to move this into the main file. Of course, we're just going to do this so Xcode stops screaming and for testing purposes. And so it's on the screen still. All right, but, oh, there we go, see? And now this has no articles, so... This is the view controller, so if you did load. All right, so articles. We're missing articles. So what is... We want var articles equal to... an array of articles. Because articles here is gonna be a struct, a model basically. And now we have another error. We have to fix this. And in our case, typically with TDD, you just want to do the minimal, which is kind of what I didn't do, right? Because I didn't have to include this or this to fix the problem from before. But I'm doing it just to help along with the process. And I think that's what, once you get more familiar, you can like skip a few steps, right? You don't have to do the bare minimum, right? So, and now we're getting another error. So there's no table view member. So let table view equals UI table view. And now we're gonna get that, and then this should pass, I think, unless it doesn't, because we haven't registered it. So let's see what it does. Actually, I'm not sure what this will do. It's waiting to come. Let's see. Oh, it succeeded. I guess it was equal because I mean we haven't set it up though. So, but what about now that we failed here, we can go on to this next test. Although you could do some refactoring, right? Like we could move this over into these files, into like the main folder, and start implementing it into our project. But I'm gonna leave it here just to continue this onto the more examples, because we're gonna continue on with the home view controller, and I can just make changes here. All right, so next we want to test the table view has one cell, or we'll say one item. It has one item. So given let's set, which is gonna be our home view controller, right? Given that, when what? When our table view, no, and when articles equal, when it has one article in it. And articles is an array of articles, so. And this is just one instance of this. I'm not sure if it's going to throw an error. I did control B instead of control U. What do we want to assert here? We want to assert that set dot table view dot number of rows of section 0, that's equal to 1. Let's see. Boom, failed. Why did it fail? Because we haven't even touched the table view. So we're gonna do. So usually, again, you want to do the most minimal thing to fix this error. And actually, we'll do that. We'll do that. So here, we're gonna do a very basic cell. Right. So. And what else? I don't think this will fix that because we didn't register. Table view dot data source equal to self. And now we have to conform. We have to fix this, yeah. Number of rows. This looks ugly here. Let me move this down here. And this is, hopefully let's get to the refactoring step soon, because it's getting a little ugly. So return, this is number of rows, articles dot count. And now we're going to let cell equal cell. Oh no, wait, table view. Dot DQ reusable cell. For identify. Alright, so for cell, index path, return cell. We're not going to do anything with it now. And this should fix our error, I believe. Let's see. Failed. But why? Alright, so the error we were having is actually here we need to view load viewed if needed. That's what we need here. And we actually needed that here. Since this is a view controller and we have data, we're gonna want to load view if needed. And look at that, now we pass. Yay. And now we're gonna go to table. We're gonna test the last one, where the home view has a lot of tables. So given let's set equals home view controller So when dot, so when this equals, here, let me create an array of articles. Article, it's gonna look weird. Let's create like 4. So let me just copy and paste this. Delete that. All right. So when this equals article, load view if needed. What else? Then what should happen is xct assert our table view number of rows in 0 in section 0. What should that equal? That should equal articles here dot count. And if we run this, what do we get? What do we get? Hey, we get a green test. We get a green test. Hey, so we're on the right track. We're on the right track, despite this looking all crazy, right? And this article here, we're gonna configure that later because we're gonna be using that when we make our network call. So now it's time for refactoring, because you see here we got this a bunch of red, a bunch of green. We do red, green, refactor. We got our greens. Now time to refactor. And one thing, we're just gonna be on the focus on test first. One thing we can refactor is this system under test, and we actually can use this setup function right here. And this basically sets up the environment right before each test. And what you have to do is you also have to tear it down, and you want to make sure you do not the class. And you want to call super.teardown after you've done your stuff you're going to do for the teardown. So what we're going to do is we're going to refactor this out. So then we put this here. And actually, since we're instantiating this, we're going to put set up here of type home view controller. And we can force it, since whenever this is built, it's going to have a view controller basically, because this is in the setup. So we're not going to get any issues. And we also want to nil it out, because if you don't nil it out, you could have the same instance of home view controller being used for different tests. Like, for example, in this instance of home view controller, you notice we have articles as 1, right? And if we were testing in another one and we didn't overwrite articles, we would still get articles equal to 1. And you don't want that for your tests. So now that we have set here, we can remove this. This gets cleaned up. This gets cleaned up. This gets cleaned up. All right. Oh. All right. Okay, and let me see any other refactoring we could do. For here, this is great, right? And now for this home view controller, we can just rip this out of here. And you might get some errors. And we'll create a new file. Call this home view controller. And we'll put this in here. Let's import UI kit just for future reference. And we can do some refactoring here. We can make an extension on this, and I don't like having my stuff up here, so I'm gonna refactor this into down here, and I can rip these out, put them here, and we can take this out the view to load function, and we can create a private func called configure table. And what else? And we could do some more. We can stuff here like setting up the frame and adding the table to the sub view. This is not really part of testing, but it is part of like the refactoring in a bit. And now we're getting an error because we don't have articles. So let's create a new file called article. And we'll just rip this out, although you could have just ignored that and created and we'll get back to that when it's time. You run your test, see if anything broke, and we're good. We're good to go. And one more thing before, though, is if you go to analyze, oh no, wait. What was it? No, if you go to scheme, my bad. If you go to scheme and you go to tests, you get this whole mumbo jumbo. You go to, what are we looking for? If you go to options, execute in parallel, of course, and then you want to click randomize execution order for your tests. And this just helps you, like if you think about, so basically it just tests your tests in a random order. And that can be very helpful because since we're writing our tests in order, we could set it up where in order they all pass, right? But if you test them randomly, there could be like a dependency between them that could cause it to like fail. And you would want to know that, so that's why we randomize the order. All right, and let's run this again and see what happens. We still have a... Wait, let's control B and see what happens. Can we get this out of here? But I imported it. It's right here. Wait, let me... Why is this doing this? All right, there you go. Your Xcode was tripping for a little bit. All right, and I'm gonna cut it here for this first episode because I don't want these to get too long. So yeah, this is the first episode. We did a bit of a testing. We're gonna go deeper into some more testing. Yeah, we also did some setting up here. We're gonna get into a lot more testing in the next few episodes. So stay tuned. Let me know your thoughts below on the testing method and the video. And yeah, y'all take care.